Welcome to the final round of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Series here on World Sim Series. It is the Nürburgring Nordschleife, the home of Ringfreaks, and we've got our final round in this championship. Simon Speff at the top of the pro standings, ahead of Grantas Karatskas and Matas Mendelis, 91, 75, 64 points here, top three. Gogosnidze leads by 5 points in Pro-Am, ahead of Chibugashvili and Verschutskas on 72.89 for the leader. And in AM, it's Javagashvili on 87, Azikiev on 80, and Rybatsky on 69. Cherel is also in that battle on 65, so still a battle for that third spot on the overall championship standings. As we're into the end of this qualifying session, we've obviously had a extended session here just because of the length of the track. That meant one flying lap for all the cars, and essentially as they crossed the line, the overtime kicked in. So it's one and only attempt for everybody out here on track. And quickest in the pre-qualifying session, Tadas Juknavicius, second Grantas Kratskas, and third Simon Speth. And Tadas Juknavicius, luckily for him, doesn't have any weight on his car, so 1.4 seconds to the good he was in pre-qualifying. And I'm joined, as always, by Laurinus.
Welcome everyone, and welcome to the first race of 2026 on the World Sim Series platform, and to the last race of the Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Championship. As Gustav already mentioned, we are live with the qualifying session. We do not see any completed lap times on the board. That's because it was a very long outlap, and well, drivers have only one opportunity here this evening on the very important race to set their qualifying lap times. And qualifying session on the Nordschleife is very important, of course. The lap is long, but during the 1 hour race you will not complete many laps, meaning that if you start your race from lower positions, you will have a very complicated race. I love to see that. I can safely say that Grantas Karetskas invited Juknavicius to join into this race just to help him out. We know Tadas Juknavicius as one of the fastest drivers on simulators in Lithuania, and well, he'll be here, the man with the mission to take away some very important points from the main rivals of Karetskas, which are Speth and Mendelis. Still, I think Grantas Karetskas is really safe with his championship. He started he started 4 races and finished only 3 out of 5, and he's still second with 75 points. So I think he's here just to enjoy the race, and he just needs to get a good finish in his class. As we have 8 drivers in the Pro Plus class, which is a little bit more than we had in the previous races.
Nordschleife always invites extra competitors. And, well, in terms of the championship, it would be a long shot, I think, here for Grantas to do anything. Question is, of course, the dropped points.
Oh yes, you're right. Well, Grantas needs to win this race, and he needs to... Well, he needs Juknavicius to finish second, I think, to eliminate the highest amount of points for his rivals. We should look at the results of Simon Speth, and well, if he has a chance to get higher points in his overall standings as the first results come in.
Lap times, and Juknavicius, well, that is... wonder how big of a difference it is to what he did in pre-qualifying, but that looks, well, almost identical, just a tiny bit quicker, and Karetskas as well, almost identical in pre-qualifying. Juknavicius 8 minutes, 0.296, and now it's a 2:20, so improves. Karetskas didn't improve, but his fastest time in pre-qualifying was an 8-minute 1.612, so 0.004 of a second difference. Mendelis, not that good of a lap time. He's in the 2:04.9s, much slower than what he was doing in pre-qualifying. Spefto even if he is over a second slower than what he did in pre-qualifying, he does the job, takes P3, and I think today with the competition he's got in front of him, that's most likely the best he can hope for. In AM, actually, AM goes top of Pro-Am, Ojunas in P8, P9 for Jofert. That is a pole position in the Pro-Ams so far. We'll see if there are any other improvements in lap time. Quite a few drivers did not set a lap. That means made a mistake somewhere. And had to either abort the lap or it was deleted for them.
Only Popenga is on the racetrack, going down the Döttinger Höhe straight. One corner to go, and we will have the full grid ready for the final race. A lot of drivers didn't set a valid lap time, starting from P16, excluding Popenga, who is still on his lap time. Drivers didn't set a valid lap time. That means that during their one attempt, they went off the racetrack somewhere, got the track limits, and the qualifying lap time is not being calculated. So Popenga has a good chance of starting this race from at least P16. He's an M driver who should be crossing the line at any moment now. And, well, there we go. Where did Popenga end? Yep, he is P16, so he just needed to end that lap, and he will start the race from P16. Results are on your screens.
Look, so in terms of Pro Plus, it's it's a pretty nice grid, as we've got the top 7 in Pro Plus, only one Pro Plus car not setting a lap time. So the top 7 is all Pro Plus. Juknevičius, Karatska, Spef, Soldukas, Mendelis. Your top 5 in AM, it's Ojunas in 8th. The next car is only in 12th with Javakashvili and Markaitis in 13th. Jofert takes pole in Pro-Am, and it's a 1-2-3 in Pro-Am, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Jofert, Jibgashvili, and Kobosnice. Kobosnice with 45 kilos on his car. So heavy, heavy machine for him. As we get ready to go, it is the final round of this championship, and the final chance for the drivers to show what they can do. It's an hour-long race, one mandatory pit stop where you can either put fuel in or put fuel and tires in. So we'll see what strategies the drivers pick out.
What would be your best guess? Go full speed and change the tires, or go safe and save the pit stop time? What would you do?
Well, we'll see what the tire wear is. I have no idea what the tire wear is. But I would say it's going to be difficult to get a pass done around here, but if you don't have tires, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But we'll see what happens in about an hour's time. I'll tell you the answer as we're away for the final race of this season. Spef holds on to that all-important P3 position as they run down into turn 1, almost running into the back of Karatskas. It's the BMWs in second and third.
It's Mendelis!
And that is it?
It was Mendelis. Mendelis went sideways. Now he's all over the track now. I think he...
Around. And he's side by side with Soldukas heading down through the GP course, and Soldukas stays in front. But I think that should be, well, teammates should probably get that position switched done. Oh, some BMW off the road. And with the way everybody's still going through in a train, I'm going to guess they didn't cause that much trouble.
For one
Brian in the middle of the pack, so moves up from Jofert. Big move up to P7. Ojunas in P8, and that's good for Jofert as he puts Ojunas between himself and Kobosnice for the lead in Pro-Am. O'Brien there behind Kobosnice as well, so making life more and more difficult for those Pro-Am cars. As somebody off very wide. That's Ojunas, and he loses the spot to Kobosnice. He'll be side by side. Another car off the road there and this is the opportunity to get the move done. And he couldn't get, well, who can't get it done, they'll have to wait a lap pretty much. So everybody's frantic, trying to get moves done. And side by side into the fast GT chicane. Ojunas loses the position. O'Brien up to P9, but that's still a position loss from where he started.
Yep, but still in the lead in the M class. Javakishvili is right on his tail though, so he'll have a little bit of things to do when he'll be running on this old Nordschleife circuit. Looks like Javakishvili dropped down a bit behind Ojunas, and well, the mission for Ojunas now is just to avoid mistakes and hold on to that position. He's currently in the lead of the M class and needs to avoid mistakes like these right in front of Javakishvili. He made a small mistake, lost a lot of time, and Javakishvili is also not running by himself. That's Juen, a driver from Pro M class who might go for an overtake. It's not for position, but that might toughen the life for the drivers battling for one. Ooh, Javakishvili jumped over the curb and the car went sideways slightly. Now he'll gonna lose the position to Juen. Oh, Juen? I wonder how one should pronounce the name correctly.
The new driver, I don't think we've seen him here
Nope.
before.
I don't recall.
So calculation for the pro class, if Karatskas wins, he wins the championship, no matter what happens behind him. Now, if he does finish second, then he needs Spef to be fourth or lower. So it pretty much rests in the hands of Juknavicius. If Juknavicius gives that position up, then it's good news for Karatskas, bad news for Spef. If that's the case, Ojunas holds on to P10. But big wiggle there into the braking zone. That car moving around quite a lot. And making mistakes, so I think that start kind of rattled him. He's still got a bit of breathing room. The next AM car of Javakishvili is in P13, so he can still afford to lose a spot or two, but what he can't afford is running into a wall. So needs to calm himself down. He had the pace in qualifying. He should have the pace in the race as well. Karatskas still within a second of his friend in front. Spef 1.3 behind, and Solduka as well 2.9 behind them. He's got Mendelis on his back, and I'm surprised that there hasn't been a position switch just yet.
Everybody's...
For Mendelis, well, actually for Mendelis it doesn't really make a difference. He can't win the championship. He could finish second if Karatskas had a bad day here. Question is there a deal up in front for that position swap?
We'll figure this out in roughly 60 minutes. At this moment, looks like Juknavicius feels quite good out in front, though Garantas Karatskas is maybe a little bit stronger at some parts of the circuit. Gap dropping down slightly here as we approach the carousel section. A lot of BMWs here on the final race of the championship. Looks like this car suits well, the track suits the car, or the car suits the track quite nicely. That's why we have quite a lot of BMWs here. Juknavicius chose an Italian brand and currently dominates the field. So no matter what car you choose for your race, you still can get or be fast. It's up to the skills of the driver. So we have a battle here at the end of the top 10 standings. Kobosnidze, Ojunas, Juen, and
who have we lost then of the top 10? lost the Pro-Am car. Definitely. Because, well, I'll try to look back. Who did we lose and where? Because we're definitely missing a car. Because Jonas was in 10. Oh yeah, Asp is missing, so it's a pro car. Round the outside, he's going to take it here, and that's brave, but I think that maybe even caught Kobosnidze off guard, because I wouldn't expect a move like that. He's got Juendo on his tail now, and that's for position. That is in Pro-Am.
Oh, Jonas had a moment there, and then another moment, sliding around, still holding on to his position. Asp is 11th now, so right behind this battle you can see in the rear view monitor of Juen's car, who has to slam the brakes. He didn't expect Kobosnidze to slow down that much into the carousel corner as Asp runs side by side, was running side by side. Oh! A lot of action starts to unfold. Who's that behind Asp? It's Noreika, and Journey was off the circuit, causing a little bit more of a shuffle. Javakishvili down in P15. He was battling for the lead in the M class. He's now down battling other cars as they run down the Döttinger Höhe straight. A lot of wiggles on the racetrack just to try and break the slipstream.
Actually had to get on the brakes we saw there, going down the hill there at the end of the straight into that big braking zone for the chicane. A lot of incidents happened there, and round the outside, another move being made and gets it done. Seifert round the outside. That's obviously a pro car that was down in qualifying. I've seen a move like that in traffic. I've never seen a move like that proper. So, strange situation, moves to the inside, does Seifert to hold on to that position. He should do it. Well, if you can make a move around the outside there, you're clearly much, much quicker. Up to P12 in the BMW. Lots of BMWs here tonight. So, not many changes up at the front of the field. Still trying to get my calculations right for the Pro-Ams.
Yep, I think the biggest battle is in the Pro-Am class in the championship. No, well, maybe not the biggest, but all top three drivers still have a chance of winning this title. The M class sees Javakishvili and Azikev in a battle, but we do not have Azikev here this afternoon, so Azikev will not collect any more points. He is not able to overtake Javakishvili. Oh, and this is a huge crash.
Well, not that big of a crash, but very, very spectacular. Now everybody trying to get away, and I guess that's Kobosnidze getting to the front of that little group of cars. But more action to the outside. Seifert goes once again, gets the move done once again. He's so much quicker, but obviously that little spin did not help his situation there.
I think that's Journey who got out in front.
Journey, yep.
Kobosnidze is
actually 5 seconds in front, so big gap there.
I don't recall Journey also racing in this championship, so a few new names to the list, and you can be a new name also on the World Sim Series platform. After this championship finishes tonight, there's gonna be a new premium series which will start at January 20th. We will be racing F4 cars on various circuits, 6 rounds in total. 5 rounds will count towards the overall standings, so if you enjoy what you see on the screens, you can always come and join World Sim Series to be in battles like these, as that's Seifert and Asp once again in a battle. Ooh, both of the cars running quite wide on the exit. someone's off the racetrack. That's Noreka. Noreka was having a very nice race. He's now facing the wrong direction, down into P17. Jibgashvili is already in the pit lane. Jibgashvili was and still is second in the Pro-Am class, but Jibgashvili is now back into the pits, or was that a pit stop? He's moving again, so he's out of the pit lane, so maybe that's the mandatory pit stop completed. It was completed a little bit earlier, but maybe that's the strategy. He was running last. I think he had some issues at the beginning of the race, so he's now quite far behind from the field. How many Pro-Am cars do we have? 5 in total, so even though Jibgashvili is running 22nd, he's still 5th in the Pro-Am class, so he's still... well, he might collect some points.
Scoring 10. Now, it's a question. Well, he needs to get forward for sure. With well, Kobosnitz is not in the lead. He's in P3. I'm just trying to. The issue we have here is that we don't actually know where each driver finished in what round for the Pro-Ams, because they actually had their categories moved, some of them, and they don't reflect as that in the standings, so we don't know what's actually the drop. However, for Jibgashvili, whatever the drop is, he was at he has done only 4 rounds, so the drop doesn't matter for him. It only matters for Kobosnitz.
Yep, because Vershitskas is also not present here this afternoon, so it's a battle between Kobosnitz and Jibgashvili. Good news for both of the drivers from Georgia representing the same team. Top 2 finishers in each category will receive the Ringfreaks vouchers to run around the real Nordschleife circuit, as Jonas makes big mistakes on the carousel corner. As we speak about the Pro-Am category winners. Oh, Jonas off the racetrack. It looks like he has some issues with his hardware. That was a very strange off, and that's gonna cause chaos. 2 cars off the racetrack.
2 cars off the track, but I think they've survived that one somehow. Lights off on the BMW. Not sure what really happened there.
Well, either it was the curb that he clipped and he couldn't handle the car, but he had a moment on the carousel corner, and then this moment a little bit later on the racetrack. Maybe some issues here for the driver with something, maybe with the steering wheel disconnecting or something like that, disconnecting and reconnecting.
Maybe lost something. Well, it looked like it. It was so sudden and unexpected. He's lost the lead in AM, unfortunately for him. And now for Jibgashvili, well, he was down into the pits, wasn't he? So he'll be recovering spots. There is Fidesz, but I believe Fidesz has disconnected. Not entirely sure what the situation is right now.
He's definitely not on the racetrack at this moment. He's out of, well, off the server. So Jonas gets himself in another battle. He wants to chase down Gurney, but he's now more focused on what's happening behind him rather than trying to chase down his main rival. Now just sets the fastest lap time. He is already 1.5 seconds up in the lead again, ahead of Karetskas. Karetskas definitely wants to stay as close as possible. Speth is not so far away from Karetskas, as Mendelis managed to overtake Soldukas at some point. I missed when that took place.
Yep, there was a position switch between them. Speth is still in that sort of zone where if something happens up in front, he may still be able to capitalize. This is Zandvoort, the recovering Pro Plus car, recovering from well, his own qualifying as he goes down the inside of Kobosnidze. I don't think Kobosnidze will fight him too much here, and there's really no point in doing so, as different categories and clearly different pace. Zandvoort up into 9th, but he has a long road ahead until he can overtake somebody for position.
Joen makes a nice progress. He's up into the lead of the Pro-Am class, already 5 seconds ahead of Jofert. So as we were concentrating on the midfield battles, there were some changes in the top 10 places, as we are driving on board with Soldukas, who is chasing down Matas Mendelis. Oops. Yep, there we go. The comparison of the last laps of these two drivers, Mendelis was only 1.5 tenths faster than Justinas Soldukas, so a very similar pace of, well, a couple of tenths faster, not 1.5. A very similar pace of these two World Sim Series drivers.
I guess that the position switch happened in Sector 1. Oh, big slide. I guess the position switch happened in Sector 1, as that's where Mendelis gained the most time. And I think Mendelis should be able to get away, but the question is, can he catch Speth? I think that's going to be a difficult task for him.
Well, that's so that
lower than Speth in qualifying and pre-qualifying, so to catch up now. A tall task. Speth probably still can kind of see Karetskas in some parts of the track. As we ride on board, just barely, but clearly losing sight of him, and that is obviously his championship hopes as well.
Well, if Karetskas finishes second and Speth third, wouldn't the championship go to Speth?
Yeah, but I kind of doubt that in this situation we wouldn't see a big lift from the driver at the front.
Well, we'll figure that out. If you don't know, Karetskas and Juknevičius are not only friends on the virtual racetracks, they are friends in real life. So I'm pretty sure they have some sort of a communication between themselves. And, well...
I mean, credit to Karetskas as well, considering that he's running 35 kilos overweight, he's still doing a pretty decent job at staying behind Juknevičius. He's lost a lot at the beginning of this lap. When they crossed the line, he was at 1.4 behind. And he's actually lost a bit of time to Speth and lost about a second to the lead. So, definitely a more difficult situation for him, and I'm surprised that they're actually running different cars as well. Ferrari for Juknevičius, BMW for Karetskas.
This is still the continuous battle, the continuing battle between Mendelis and Soldukas. Oh, very different approach to that corner from both of the drivers, but at this moment Soldukas looks to be just a tiny bit faster than Matas Mendelis. He was also faster in the qualifying session. So That's not quite an easy ride for Matas Mendelis. Having to fend off Justinas Soldukas, having him always in the mirrors. Justinas Soldukas runs a little bit wide. This is a nice breathing moment for Matas Mendelis, as he definitely seen that in his mirrors.
I mean, I'm sure the guys are also communicating there as well. There's not much to gain for Mendelis. It's probably more about sticking around and seeing what happens. And now that Karatskas is off the slipstream, he's definitely been dropped over 3 seconds now, that gap. Seifert on the back of Jofert, goes to the inside in a place where you wouldn't really expect it, and makes the move stick up into 8th overall. Still about, well, 16 seconds behind the last, well, not the last car in Pro Plus, but the car sitting in 6th. Big wiggle out of the carousel. We'll be approaching midpoint of the race soon. Might see a pit stop on this lap or on the next lap. Oh, big slide there, and almost, well, goes off the track and spins. And is he going to collect Jofert there? I think Jofert got past. Yep.
Yes, he survived. So it was a nice journey for Seifert. It's still continuing, but he lost quite a lot of time here with this mistake. Dropped down 6 seconds now behind Jofert, right in front of Kobosnidze and Journey.
Yep, and it's another spin for him. We saw him spin earlier on. At that time, I think somebody else was involved. This time it looks like nobody else was involved in that one. It was just his own mistake on board with Gurney. Quiet car. Before it revs out fully.
Gurney is currently the leader of the M class. Rybatsky is second, and we have a battle in the M class. Rybatsky is currently third in the standings. Javakishvili is first. Azikev is second, so Azikev will not collect points. Javakishvili is currently fourth in the M class. We don't have the points of the previous rounds. It's really difficult to calculate. Is that Jofert again? Seifert, yep.
Seifert,
It's
yep, it is. Another fastest lap of the race by Juknavicius, and really extended his gap this time round. But on, well, that was Seifert. This is Javakishvili.
Yep.
Leader in points in AM. We don't know the drops, and that one is again a class where, well, actually, it wouldn't. I don't think it would change anything for the lead. At least I doubt it would. And it's more a question of P2. But since Zikev is not here tonight, O'Brien, by the way, into the pits. First one, pretty much first one of the top 6 to take his pit stop. So that looks like a definite tire change for that BMW, and he'll be running a longer second stint here. Whoever pits next lap will be running a shorter second stint.
Yep, so we had a couple of cars who went into the pit lane early, and up until now only O'Brien is in the pit. Markaitis has also went into the pit lane, an M-class driver. Still some cars have to finish off this lap for us to figure out if there's more cars who will enter the pit lane by the end of this one.
So, 3 laps completed. Whoever hits next lap, that will be an equal stint time, because we should run 8 laps here. this race. So its next lap will be running exactly half of the race. Maybe a pretty decent solution. We'll see how. Well, where has O'Brien come out actually after that pit stop? He's back out in 13th. Got about 5 seconds of breathing room in front of him. Once he gets past Jamakishvili, that's another 15. So in a good spot he is. If Soldukas or Mendeles were to pit, I think they'd go right into some traffic in front. Well, obviously depending on how long the pit stop is.
Did Joffert made a mistake? He was just overtaken by Seifert. I think Joffert just made a mistake because he was about 5 seconds, or he's that slower.
No, I don't think he's... Well, actually, his last lap and his best lap of the race is in 8:19. Obviously, he was in a battle there, but looks like he's definitely struggling with something here. I don't think he's actually that much slower, but maybe made some mistakes, as it doesn't look like that car really wants to listen to him. And he's got Gurney up behind him, the leader in the AMS, who's going to go to the outside. I don't think Jofert's going to fight this one too much either. This is not for class position, so no difference in points, and Gurney gets past quite easily. Now, and really came off the line there. I think he's got some front end damage, some front end aero damage. As you saw, the front end just lift up and go off the road. Now it's going to be Kobosnidze behind, and this is for position.
Yep, and Kobosnidze is currently the Pro-Am Championship leader, and he would definitely want to finish second here in this race, just to finish off his championship. I wonder where we'll have Chibgashvili after this race. Kobosnidze finished 5 rounds. He won 2 of them, and Chibgashvili participated only in 4 of them. So the points that Chibgashvili will collect this afternoon will still go into his account. I wonder what the worst race for Kobosnidze was.
So the worst one we can see was a race with 8 points, but we don't actually know if that was the worst. It could have been even worse, but definitely I think no better than 6th. So I had a look at that situation there. Kobosnidze, it looks good if he finishes in front by at least 3 points. Yep, 3 points would be enough. So right now, if it were to finish as it is, they would tie. And then we go to countback, I think. And that way, then Kobosnidze should win. If he gets past Joffert here, then it's pretty much job done. Not really job done, but as close as you can get to that.
Well, yeah, having Chibgashvili way off the lead as Kobosnidze already lining up for that move. Definitely problems for Joffert. Doesn't have that top speed. So I think he made a mistake and hit the barriers, which damaged his car, and now he's unable to battle his rivals. He was way in front of Kobosnidze, and I basically thought that's done for Kobosnidze this afternoon for finishing higher. Rybatsky, an M driver, right behind Joffert now. Rybatsky is looking for that P2 finish, I believe, in the overall M category standings. He's currently second in the M class. Journey is, not too far ahead. He can see that Aston Martin in front, just that they are separated by 2 cars. Gurney running very slow, and that goes the lead For Rybatsky, Kobosnidze running wide. What's happening here? Do we have oil on the racetrack or something?
And it's again that same part of the track where we saw issues for Seifert last time round. Jofert has clearly come back to some kind of pace, because he's not in as much well, trouble as he was at the beginning, where beginning of the lap, where he was just being driven around by everybody. Now this is Kobosnidze being put under pressure from Rybatsky behind, and Rybatsky tries to go to the inside. I don't know what's the better option here. Maybe Kobosnidze should just let him go. He was quicker before.
In the meantime, Jibgashvili is back in the pits. Sorry for interrupting you, but Jibgashvili is back in the pit lane, so he needs to finish this race. The highest he can go is P4 unless something unexpected happens to his rivals. Only 4 Pro-M cars left on the field, so he just needs to go through this nightmare of a race. As Juknavicius and Karecka's pit, so does Simon Speth. And everybody else should follow these drivers, should they? Yep. There was a lapped car that stayed on the racetrack. So 50-50 strategy for most of the drivers. O'Brien pitted 1 lap earlier. Ojunas was also the driver who pitted, I believe, together with O'Brien at the same lap. They will have a longer final distance. Joan goes into the pit lane also. He's already 20 seconds ahead of Seifert. Kobosnidze 15 seconds behind Seifert, and it was a moment where they were running side by side. This is again a battle for, well, it's not for position. Jofert again behind Kobosnidze. He doesn't have that top speed. Oh, Rybatsky off the racetrack, and I think Kobosnidze will gonna hit the wall.
I don't know if he hit the wall. Maybe he avoided that one, but more trouble as Kobosnidze stays out. Everybody else pits, so I'm guessing either a shorter final stint or fuel only. That could be an option, could be a risk. I don't know if it's worth taking for him, but could be a risk that he does take. Leaders out of the pits, and well, status quo at the front, and nothing's changed. That means everybody's probably on the exact same strategy. Now it's a question of if and when Juknavicius lets Kareckas through.
Definitely 2 questions: if and when. If the answer is yes to the first question, we will figure this out in about 30 minutes of time, a little bit more than that. Juknavicius 6 seconds ahead of Kareckas. Wow. Oh, Rybatsky received a drive-through penalty for crossing something. He crossed something.
Crossing the white line on pit entry.
Oh, yep. So, well, he will not lose too much time, but he was battling for the lead in the M class. That might hurt his results a little bit. He's currently 3rd in the M category standings with 69 points in total, 5 completed races. 11 points behind Azikev, who is not present here this afternoon. Javakishvili with 87 points in the standings. He's currently in the lead of the M class, so we might see those different strategies here even on the Nordschleife circuit. I think that's O'Brien. That's here. O'Brien.
Yep, who made that early pit stop and spun round on the entry to the Nordschleife, gets back going, but that looked pretty slow and not really rushing to get back on the track.
Sketchy laps for a lot of the drivers.
That doesn't lose him any positions in his class, though puts Seifert just a little bit closer to doing something here. think it really makes a difference though either way, as O'Brien... has O'Brien run the full championship? No, he's not run a single race. Seifert has, he's done one, so really more racing for fun. For those big prizes. Jouen on the back of Javakishvili. And Javakishvili doesn't fight that one.
Yep, new tires versus old. New tires versus old tires. Javakishvili was not in the pit lane, and the question is now, will he stay out on the racetrack till the final lap to get that splash and dash strategy, which seems to be quite risky here on this Nordschleife circuit, assuming that the drivers will run a little bit longer than 1 hour. Not sure for how much longer with these long laps. But that means a little bit more of a life is required from the tires. Mendel is 9 seconds behind Simon Speth, so definitely Speth is looking for a top 3 finish here. Now as the drivers are lining up, it looks like the championship win is going for Simon Speth. But that's still not the end of the race. 2 friends out in front, Juknavicius and Karetskas. They are battling for the Ringfreaks vouchers for the tests on the real Nordschleife circuit. Top 2 finishers in each category will be rewarded with those vouchers. The 3rd places in each category will receive Premium World Sim Series subscriptions. So you definitely want to finish this championship rather either 1st or 2nd in the standings. Chepkashvili still...
Well, I guess he'll just wait and cross the line on the final lap. He can't be lower than 4th, and pretty much he can't be higher than 4th.
Well, it looks like he was struggling here pretty much on this racetrack. I mean, he could have tried to stay out and wait for something to happen for his rivals. That would still give him higher chances. But it looks like it's not gonna happen, and now he's just chilling in the pit lane, having a couple of sandwiches or drinking coffee, waiting for his time to get back out onto the racetrack. As Saldukas and Mendeles, they still continue their battle, running pretty close to each other as they were throughout the whole distance of this race. Couldn't say the same about Karetskas and Juknavicius, which surprises me. Well, Juknavicius is now running faster than Karetskas. Of course, he has that lighter car, quite a lighter car. Karetskas has 35 kilograms on his car as a ballast. This is a World Sim Series ballast system. If you finish in the top 3 places, you are rewarded with some kilograms added to your car to even out the chances in the championship slightly. Simon Speth has 15 kilograms, Mendeles has 15 also. Kobosnidze has the heaviest car, a 45 kilograms ballast is on the Audi R8 GT3 driven by Kobosnidze this evening. And Kobosnidze did have quite a few great races. He won the last 2 races actually in the overall standings. So he won the Zolder track and the Nürburgring GP circuit.
Had good results this season.
Yep, so Juknevich is crossing the line with 19 minutes to go. That means we still have 3 laps to complete, as you already told, 8 laps in total, and it should be around a 1 hour and 5 minutes race for Tadas Juknevičius and Kareckas, a little bit longer for the rest of the field.
Not that much longer, really. Spef is still quite close. He's still there if something happens. The question is, will something happen? And knowing knowing how professional these guys are, I would kind of doubt that. But the Nordschleife is one of the only places on Earth where unexpected things happen all of the time. And as we approach the end of this race, a reminder to you that this weekend we're heading to the first special event of the World Sim Series season. It will be the 24 Hours of Daytona, the traditional now event on World Sim Series is back for another year, and we'll be seeing the drivers tackle that circuit this weekend. You can still sign up if you haven't already. We've got actually 3 divisions now, so over 100 teams signed up. LMP2 and GT3. Big battles expected in that one, and we'll be covering it live as always on YouTube and Twitch on the World Sim Series channels. And in 2 weeks' time, we're heading to Spa for the World Sim Series F4 Championship, a new series starting up. And that will be a 30-minute sprint race.
Yep, I believe with one mandatory pit stop. So that's gonna bring a little bit of a strategy game into the championship.
Yep, there is one mandatory pit stop, so you can already start signing up for that one. The season opens at Spa, then we're heading to Mugello, Imola, Monza, and then Silverstone, and finishing the season in Barcelona.
Yep, so if you're up to these faster little cars, which have plenty of grip, you can still definitely join the championship to get your chance of winning something on the World Sim Series platform. And I think the races will be will have lots of fun, and will be interesting not only to watch but maybe to participate at. As Javakishvili, did he go into the pit lane? I don't think so. Still, the system doesn't catch up with the pit stops of the drivers, so it's really hard to tell. Javakishvili was in the lead at one point of the M class. He's now down to P4 again, so maybe he was in the pit lane. Still losing quite a lot of time, doesn't have the pace. Gerni is on his tail, looking for a move, and by the looks of the pace of Javakishvili, one could say that he was not in the pit lane. That's why he's losing quite a lot of places. With old tires, you cannot compete with your rivals. as you would with some fresh rubber on your race car. So Javakishvili down to P4 again. Rybatsky back into the lead of the M class, looking to collect some valuable points in the championship, and I think he's going for P2. He only needs 11 to overtake Azikiev. If he finishes first, I think he'll get those. 11 points, and I'm not sure what the situation with Javakishvili is actually. He had 5 starts, 3 podium finishes, so a couple of finishes where he was lower than P3. He's currently 4th, so he might get a couple of points.
Still points on offer for all of the drivers, and sometimes even if you're not fighting for those top spots, it's nice to move your way up the standings. Sun sets at the Nordschleife. I don't think we'll go into full darkness, but we'll be getting closer and closer. Juknavicius has really shown his pace here today. And even if in the first laps Karatskas was able to hang, I think just overall with that extra weight on the car, just as the stint goes on, it becomes slower and slower. Speff has dropped off as well. Mendelis hasn't been able to reel in Speff. They've been running, well, fastest lap times weren't similar, but if you look at the gap progression, they've stayed quite similar. I think Mendelis only lost about 2 seconds throughout that whole time, so decent job by him, but obviously not enough, and he wouldn't have had enough anyway to overtake Speff in the championship. Yeah, the race definitely has gone into a bit of a calmer period. 11 minutes to go, so crossing the line now will be 2 laps to go. Overtake up there in front. Was that for position? No, that was traffic, I think. Or is that Jofert off the road? No, it is Jofert off the road. Jofert's gone off. I saw him slow out of the carousel, and he's still moving around. Clearly some very, very big issue for Jofert. And oh yes, this does not look good. His hands are off the wheel as well, so very, very bad situation. Look at that, his hands are off the steering wheel. I don't know what he's steering with, and I'm not sure I do want to know, because that is a very, very strange sight to see. Yep, that is gonna be race, well, pretty much over. Gonna have to get that thing back to the pits, or just tow it back to the pits at this point.
So I'm looking at the results of Javakishvili, and he has 3 wins and 2 lower places, and his worst result is 6 points. So if he finishes 4th this afternoon, he'll receive 12 points, which will be 6 points added to his overall standings. That should make him on a point stand with 93. If Rybatsky wins this race, we should go through the results, but I think that would still not be enough for Rybatsky to take the win in the M class, and that means Javakishvili is just cruising on this racetrack, trying to finish at least 4th, grab some points as Kobosnidze goes into the pit lane for his mandatory pit stop. That stopped quite late into this race.
Yep, with just 2 laps to go.
But with Jofert having these issues, Kobosnidze is easily finishing in P2.
And this could have been good for Chavakashvili to keep, not Chavakashvili, sorry, for Jibgashvili to keep running. Rybatsky drive-through taken, and a bit sideways there. Tries to go around the outside, and I think he's got the drive and he's got the position.
Well, he stayed in front. Yeah.
Well, yeah, he stayed in front. And Gurney's going to try and go down the inside. Not going to work, but a little bit wide from Badlavicius in front. But still, no opportunity to get that move done. And he has to get it done here. He'll struggle to do it around the Nordschleife. But actually, we've seen so many moves today on the Nordschleife that you can't even say it's that much harder to overtake there.
Yep, and it's only 2 laps to go. For the drivers, this is a nice battle in the M class. 3 drivers battling for the lead with 2 to go. Running quite close to each other after Rybatsky completed his drive-through penalty. Gurney going sideways. Looks like that Aston Martin is not playing too nicely for Gurney, the way he would like to. Lost quite a lot of time now to Badlavicius and Rybatsky.
Losing time. Gashvili's still in the pit, so he'll definitely come out only for the final lap because he's still on the server.
Yeah, but now with the problems that Jofert has faced, means that Jibgashvili might have stayed out, but maybe it was too difficult. I don't know. Well, the decision was made by the driver to stay in the pit lane, but with the problems that Jofert now did have
actually,
now.
That, well, at least in this preliminary calculation, it wouldn't have changed anything. They would have still tied on points. And countback will always go to Kobosnidze as he's won way more races.
Oh,
So, oh, big slide from Badlavicius and into the wall. I wonder what happened there. Was there any contact? And big smack into the wall. Big position loss. And that is another driver battling for AM honors off the road.
No, I don't think there was a contact. I think Badlavicius just made a mistake. Went a little bit too deep in one of the corners. Went off the racetrack, hit the wall, and well, is back on the racetrack. In the meantime, Karetkas already 9 seconds behind Juknavicius, and that's not gonna be a small lift by Juknavicius if there will be one. It's already 10 seconds with 1.5 laps to go. Speth 8 seconds behind Karetkas, so also running a little bit slower. Saldukas still enjoying the company of Mendelis, running around the circuit together. 4th and 5th places, 2 solo cars. I don't think we have any other Mercedes or Porsche on the Nordschleife circuit this afternoon. We have 1 Aston Martin, we have a Ferrari, but as Badlavicius received a drive-through penalty. So more drama, and that's Mendelis struggling a little bit, having to battle with Saldukas, who was running behind him, now side by side. On the old circuit, as Gustav said, we had some overtakes here on this racetrack.
He's got it done somehow, magically. Yeah, again, we've been proven completely wrong because we've always said it's so difficult to overtake around this place. Here we have guys doing it around the outside, and you could say in traffic, sure, but these are drivers similarly paced. I think it's also a case of Mendelis and Saldukas kind of know that there's not much more to, well, there's not much Mendeles can gain from this race anymore, so they've probably just decided to, but actually Mendeles lost a lot of time to Speff in distance, so maybe losing time in general. Right, for the lead, it's still Juknavicius up in front. This is Seifert, and for the first time, he's finally seeing a pro car he can battle in this race. He's got Lee O'Brien up in front. Remember, we saw him spun round on the entry to the Nordschleife, so not for that spin, Seifert would have had no chance to catch up. Now, he's got a very, very good chance to overtake. This is 6th place in Pro and 7th place overall. Wow, that is very slow around the carousel as Rybatsky having issues. Gurney back into the lead of M. Yes, he is Rybatsky. Well, he was so slow in the carousel. I wonder what happened there.
He did have some sort of an issue around the carousel as Juknavicius completes the fastest lap of this race, 8 minutes and 4 tenths.
And starts the final lap of the race as well.
Yep, with 2.5 minutes on the clock, they will have to circle around the circuit for one final time. Hopefully everyone has had their calculations correct, made in the pit lane with the added fuel. Remember, we had, I believe, Speth, who ran out of fuel 2 times in this championship. So you still have to make those calculations, as there goes Seifert on O'Brien, just ahead of the small carousel corner, and it looks like he was able to complete that move. Nicely done by Seifert. Was that too early? O'Brien will have that slipstream, though he's already 4 tenths behind and still losing time on the exit onto the Dottingerhöhe straight. Mendeles running behind. Saldukas cannot do anything against the Porsche. I believe, well, the BMW should have some pace advantage. Well, O'Brien has no pace advantage against Seifert, even in the slipstream. Actually losing a bit of time. Oh, actually Mendeles managed to overtake Saldukas, but that's happening on the GP circuit again. So these two are enjoying this race to the highest level. What's happening with Matas Mendeles? Weaving a little bit around. Maybe that was some sort of a message to Saldukas as they complete the GP circuit for the final time. Matas Mendeles, if he wants to finish 4th, he is not allowed to make any further mistakes. We've seen Saldukas doing magic on the Nordschleife circuit. He knows how to go around a car in that narrow portion of the racetrack if it's struggling, and it looks like Matas Mendeles is not on his best rhythm here this evening, as Rybatsky and Gurney are exiting the final corner onto the final straight, side by side going the main straight, and Gurney is pushing and dragging Rybatsky close to the wall as possible, trying to tighten up his first corner, but it looks like Rybatsky managed to make that move. Gurney gave him plenty of room after being really defensive for running down that main straight. Finally lift off into the first corner. Better finish, better safe than sorry, I believe. This is the first lap of Gurney in. This is the first race of Gurney in this championship. Oh no, it's actually not the first race. That's the second race of Gurney. He's currently 15th in the standings. Started one race and finished one, and is looking at the best results in this championship. Balavicius into the pit lane after that. Oh no, he's for the drive-through penalty, and Javakishvili goes up into P3 in the M class.
And here's that battle for, that was the battle for P4 overall. This is O'Brien, who's lost that position to Seifert, who's finally gotten up a position in his category, up into 6th in Pro Plus. O'Brien still might have something to say about this, as he's still sitting behind Seifert in front.
Oh, so Lucas made a mistake.
2.7 lost. It looked very, very sideways when we last saw him, so maybe just over pushing it just that little bit, and well, Mendes just needs to cruise it home. Here we go. Has O'Brien got the speed? It's BMW v BMW, and I don't think he does. I just think Seifert has been quicker. He's been able to catch up and clearly should be able to run away. Be losing a little bit of time into this braking zone, but not much O'Brien can do heading down into the foxhole. Though he's trying, he's moving left and right, but I don't know where he thinks he'll find any gaps here, as through the foxhole there's not really any chance to make a move, but really sticking to the back, trying to put pressure on. Has to be careful to not run into the back of Seifert in front, but I don't think we've even got another Pro Plus car running. We don't, so even if they crash, well, O'Brien could just give the position back to him and nothing would change if he would run into the back of him. Still right on the tail. Nothing between these two.
They just want to have a good time here and not crash each other out. And I'm pretty sure both of the drivers are enjoying this last lap battle for 6th place in the Pro Plus class in the final race of the GT3 Premium Championship, Ringfreaks GT3 Premium Championship on the World Sim Series platform. There's another battle, which is for the lead in the M class, is happening on the track between a BMW and an Aston Martin. As I don't see the gap in the front disappearing yet. It's up to 13 seconds between Juknavicius and Kareckas, and they are already past the carousel corner, so not a long way to go for Juknavicius and Kareckas. By the way, Jibgashvili is still in the pit lane. So he did not go out to complete that final lap. He stayed in the pit lane. Maybe that's enough. I wonder how many laps he completed. How many laps do you have to complete to be qualified for the points?
I think we had the discussion. I don't think the World Sim Series actually has a percentage that you would need to complete.
Okay, so he just needs to stay in the server to well, get his result official.
Does he need to cross? Maybe he would need to cross the line. I'm not sure though. I think they were scoring points either way.
I don't know. Remember when Kareckas had that crash in one of the earlier rounds in this championship? He did not receive points. He had a DNF for that race. Well, he disconnected from the server. He completed some laps, he started the race, but he didn't get any points for that one. Oh, O'Brien ahead of Seifert. Seifert just made a mistake.
Yep, position switch once again between these two. And, well, remember that there's still a big straight coming up where things can change.
Yeah, and it's changing.
Yep.
It's changing.
I mean, it wasn't unexpected. I think we expected it, and it was again a question of more when. And well, I hope that Nissan does move out the way so that the leaders can take the flag. And this is going to be championship honors for Grantas Kareckas, who'll be very thankful to his friend Tadas Juknavicius, who gave him that position. But it's teamwork. It's all fair game. As Simon Speff, well, he'll do enough to finish P3 here, and that should be second place in the championship if our calculations are correct for the drop rounds. This battle still continues on though, for 6th place in Pro Plus. Both of these guys not really in any fight for the championship. First round for O'Brien, he goes to the inside here. That would have been an incredible overtake. Not really possible to even make an overtake there. That's a flat-out left-hander if you get it right.
Ooh.
Onto the brakes, getting super duper close. He goes a little bit wide. That's gonna compromise his line, but Seifert's compromised himself up in front. O'Brien going to the inside, contact, and that was inevitable as O'Brien gets past. Seifert is gonna be behind. Let's see if maybe O'Brien will just give that position back. I'm not sure that he will.
Oh, Seifert drive through from race direction, so O'Brien should let. Well, he has nothing to lose actually. He might get penalty from race control, but Seifert has a penalty which will basically be converted to a DNF or 1 minute or something added to the total time of the race. Oh, Gurney in front of Rybatsky. Wow, we've missed this battle as we were looking. Oh, and Rybatsky into the wall and going off of it. So Gurney will win the M class. Rybatsky will finish second. Javakishvili should finish this race third.
Yep, that should be. We'll see once everybody crosses the line how everything stacks up here. As
Seifert needs to.
Goes into the.
He received a drive-through penalty. It's now 60 seconds added to the final time. This is all being handed out by the real penalty app.
Yep, I guess he had too many incidents. I think so. It's interesting that he decided to hit. I guess he thought he could serve the drive-through on the final lap.
Maybe he was never in a situation like this before, so.
The timing line, it doesn't change anything for him though, because there's no other Pro Plus car running, so it's still a P7. Would have been, could have been 6th maybe. Maybe we'll see O'Brien get a penalty for that, but
what penalty would you hand out to O'Brien for that contact? So it might be 10 seconds or something, but not.
I guess it's more of a question of how the system converts a drive-through penalty, because this is a pretty harsh conversion. He had a drive-through penalty. It's been converted to a minute of penalty.
Yeah, that should be 20 seconds or so. Yeah, definitely not 1 minute.
Less, actually, because the pit lane speed here on Assetto Corsa is extremely high. It's 80 to 100 k's an hour sometimes, so at least 80 pretty much everywhere we go. So really, it should be around. It's almost a 15-second or so loss. So pretty heavy penalty here for Seifert, but again, doesn't really change anything for his race. O'Brien, even if you give him a drive-through penalty, he still finishes ahead of Seifert. Even if you give him a drive-through penalty that gets converted to that 1 minute, he still finishes ahead of Seifert, so doesn't change much there. We do believe it's Kolbosnidze who takes the title in Pro-Am. And we'll just, well, pretty much everybody's finished. Have they?
No, there are a couple of cars on the track, including Popenga, who was in that Nissan GTR GT3 car, who did not slow down to let Karetskas through. He wanted that final lap.
We're not waiting for it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, race results. Here we go. Karetskas, Juknavicius, Spef. Your top three, and Karetskas takes the title. Mendelis in 4th, 5th for Soldukas. Winner in Pro-Am, Juen, who, well, went up, went down, but at the end of the day, P6, great result and win in Pro-Am. O'Brien, 6th in Pro and 7th overall. Then Gurney takes the win in Am ahead of Rybatsky, and then comes Kolbosnidze in P2 in Pro-Am. Javakishvili finishes P3 in Am, and P3 in Pro-Am goes to Joford, who didn't finish, and Jibugashvili in 4th, who didn't finish, and then there's Fidesz in 5th, who didn't finish. So I don't know. I don't know who the points are going to. Maybe nobody. Only P1 and P2 get points today. Did we say P3 in in AM? That was Javakashvili. If you want to check out the full results, you can head on over to worldsimseries.com and have a look at the results there. And remember, this weekend, we're off to Daytona for the 24 Hours of Daytona. And in 2 weeks' time, the World Sim Series F4 Championship starts. Thanks to the sponsors, thanks to Ringfreaks for providing the prizes for this series. We'll see these drivers head on, the winning drivers in the classes, the podium sitters in the classes, head out to the Nordschleife to test out their skills on the real track as well. And if you want to win some great prizes, head on over to worldsimseries.com. And that's going to be it for tonight. Good night, and see you on Saturday.
World Sim Series presents Ultimate Endurance Challenge.